What's going on, you bunch of heretics? Grab paint pots, grab your recaf, and let's get some paint on that ever-growing pile of potential. And it grows. It is, of course, the Heresy is My Therapy SlapChop / speed painting tutorials. Today, something I'm really excited about, and something I've really been looking forward to painting, and somewhat wish I didn't get rid of when I first got the Leviathan set. It's the Von Ryan Leapers, the Tyranid Von Ryan's Leapers. I think they are incredible models, and thanks to the Combat Patrol magazine, I've got 3 good to go. We're going to carry on with the theme of the Behemoth. I'm pretty sure it is Hivefleet Behemoth, the black and red. As you know, a while ago we did do that colour scheme on a Termagant, I want to say, and I really like the way that turned out. So with this Combat Patrol, that's the colour scheme that we're going to go with. So yes, some Von Ryan Leapers. I'm hoping I've said it right, and Tyranid players, I do hope you don't turn me to biomass for getting it wrong. But anyway, that's what we're going to do today in Hivefleet Behemoth, the black and the red. It's going to look gruesome, it's going to look grimdark, you'll love to see it. Anyway, as always, everything you need to be in the description below. Let's get to it.
Alright guys, here he is, the Von Ryan's Leapers, one of the 3 that we have, but today it's going to be the single model from the Combat Patrol. Of course, we've got our wet palette, as always. We've got our palette pot with a bit of a paint water drinking society from Cryptic Cabin, and our paint brushes from Techlon Tiger, and I'll be using some of those brushes from Cryptic Cabin. Remember guys, we're going to start off with our usual 3-stage dry brush. So we've got our Administratum Grey. Remember, plenty on the brush there, and then just get it all off, okay? Variation of brushes here, because obviously there's lots of different nooks and crannies we're going to get this Administratum Grey placed in. So make sure you've got a variety of brushes that you can use, or just one single one, whatever you want to go with. Small circles to get this ball rolling, and we are getting it absolutely everywhere. I'd argue this is probably the most critical part of the entire SlapChop process, is this initial Administratum Grey dry brush. We've got to make sure we get this absolutely everywhere, guys, okay? Absolutely everywhere. So all over the model, all the nooks and crannies, absolutely everywhere, okay? Absolutely everywhere. So underneath, rebuild, paint, take it all off. Then of course we're going to get our clean dry brush, and we're just going to take off all of that excess paint off the model. Gets a bit dusty, so we're just going to get that dust off there, okay? With that applied, we're going to get a smaller dry brush, and we're going to get our Ulthuan Grey. Remember, this one is where we're going to get for the tops of the model, where the light would shine or is coming in. So again, just a little bit on the brush, take it all off with your paper, get it all off, absolutely all of it off, off. And then nice and gently, all we're going to do is just up and down the model, really getting those edge highlights with the dry brush, alright? So where the light would shine, that's really where we're going to go, and that's going to allow us to create a really nice contrast on the model, okay? And again, go a little bit, go as light as you want with this, but remember we are going to put some Corax white over the top, okay? But just up and down, or where the light would touch on the model, okay? And then same again, we're going to get ourselves our clean dry brush, and we're just going to take off all of that excess paint, all that dust, that dusty paint from that dry brush. We're just going to get it all off. With that done, like I said there, we're going to get our Corax white, and same again, a small dry brush, and we're just going to pick out those little highlights that are just going to really stand out. So just on the edges of the model where that light's touching, and we're just basically, you know, just like I say, take it all off, take it all off, take it all off. Really get it all off the brush, because you can always build. You can always build. Okay. So remember, just get absolutely everything off and just slowly start to apply that extra bit of edge highlighting on those raised areas where again that the light would touch. All right. Just all over where the light would just kind of like touch on the model, and all those maybe some extra little bits that you decided, oh, actually I'd maybe like to just make that a bit brighter here or a bit brighter there. All right. And obviously, before we prep our contrast paints, we're just going to take our dry brush, our clean dry brush, and just get all that excess dusty paint off the model. All right, guys, just get that dusty paint off the model, and we are going to be good to go to put some to slap chop this thing, if you will. Jeepers, how much? Oh, how embarrassing. Right then, Skeleton Horde, and don't worry, I fixed the arm. So Skeleton Horde is what we're going to be applying, and that's all we need is just Skeleton Horde for this, okay? Make sure your paintbrush is adequately prepared, and all we're going to do is place it onto our wet palette. And all we're going to do is just going to go onto where the skin areas of the model would be. So not on the exoskeleton armor work, but just on all of the skin work that you want. Use a reference. So I went with, I think one of the Sage Studio models that I went with as a reference for this, of where the sort of like red's going to go. So this is going to be the base for our red. So we're using the Skeleton Horde first of all to do that. And like you say, you're just getting it absolutely everywhere that you want this to be applied. Again, just 2 thin coats is all you're going to need. There's no need to thin it down with Lamy and medium. Just straight from the pot onto your wet palette is absolutely fine. But like I say, if you're not sure where it's going to go, just use a reference model on Instagram or social media with the hashtag, which one is it? Hivefleet Behemoth. With that applied, we're going to grab our Magma Drop Flame. You guys know I love a bit of Magma Drop Flame. This is a very vibrant colour. Now, in previous videos before, I've gone with the Lamy medium, but for this, I'm actually going to go straight onto the model. Okay, so from the pot to the wet palette, take plenty off the brush, and I'm just going over all those areas that I applied that Skeleton Horde to. Again, with this, you're only going to need just 1 coat of this is all you're going to need of this. Okay, move the paint around, make sure it doesn't pool, but you're only really going to need 1 coat of this, because we're going to go over it again with Flesh Terror's Red. But again, all those areas that we've applied that Skeleton Horde to, we're then going to apply our Magma Drop Flame to. If you do want to richen it more, feel free to go over it again if you want to, but generally I've kind of just gone with just the 1 coat here and just touched up a few bits that may have pulled or just gone off a little bit or missed some edges, okay? And just fill in those gaps where you start to see them. Right, this is where we're going to get our Flesh Terror's Red, and we're also going to grab our Lamium medium, okay, because we're going to apply this like a bit of a wash, and this is really going to make and really give that rich deep red look to the model. So again, we're going to go a bit of a 2-to-1 mix of Lamium medium and Flesh Terror's Red. Get it onto our wet palette. A little bit on there, a little bit more. That's it. Bob Ross style. Some happy little Tyranid here. Okay. And where we've gone over with our Magma Drop Flame, we're now going to just apply it almost like a wash. Okay, straight over and let the contrast paint absolutely do its job. It might seem a little bit bright at first, but this will set and dry a bit darker and with quite a rich texture behind it. Okay. I know this is a bit of a, I know SlapChop should be like, oh, it's only going to take 2 minutes, and it is quite quickly to do. This might take you about an hour or so, because drying is going to be your only enemy here. But if you're batch painting, it'd be ideal. And like I say, 2 thin coats of this is all you're going to need, but do make sure that you are thinning it down with that lamy medium, okay? And it will just dry with a really nice, deep, rich red look to it. And like I said, we're just getting everywhere, just applying that wash, 2 thin coats over it all, let the contrast paint do its job. Oh, it's already coming together rather nicely, isn't it? Oh, yes, ma'am. Okay, next up you're going to grab out your shyish purple. And this is where we're going to start to do like the tendrils and the tentacles coming out of its mouth, those really creepy, horrible things. So, like you say, we're pretty much going to go pot, palette, straight onto the model. Okay? Pot, palette, straight onto the model. Easy as that. And this will just kind of break up the mouth area. And you can be a little bit rough with it as well, because it will almost blend in with the red very, very nicely. Alright. With that done, we're now going to get our Pterodon turquoise, and just like we do with our winged prime, we're going to apply this onto that exoskeleton on the model. Okay, so the exoskeleton armor, the blades, the top of the head, the hooves, if you will, that's over top of the spikes on these secondary arm things. That's all going to get the Pterodon turquoise. And again, you know, you are going to go with a 2-to-1 mix of lamy and medium to Pterodon turquoise with this, and like I say, we're just going to slap it on there, if you will, all over those areas, and you'll see this now really starting to come together. It's quite a big model, not too many colours. I think it's 5 or 6 colours in total for this, so relatively easy to put together. And there we go, we're just popping it all in there, and again, if it goes a little bit onto the red, it doesn't really matter because it will dry very dark, so it will almost look like a bit of a shadowy area effect as well. And again with this, you know, you can go 2 thin coats if you want to. It's not a massive requirement, but you know, it will give it that nice turquoisey hue on the model. And as you can see, we're just finishing it off there. I think I've done 2 thin coats of this on the model. All right, but it's up to you. Okay, we're going to get our Black Legion next. Okay, our Black Legion. And again, this is going to cover a fair bit of stuff. But again, Black Legion, add it a little bit into your old mix. But we do want to make sure that we thin this down. Do not go Black Legion straight onto your model, because you'll just ruin all of the hard work that you've just put in. Okay, so a good 2-to-1 mix, maybe even a bit of a 1-to-1 mix of this. And all we're doing, we're just going over that Pterodon turquoise. 2 thin coats is all you're going to need. What you're also going to do is just in some of the joints on the model, so some of the joints, some of the crevices, some of these sort of like splits in the skin, you're also just going to just add a little bit into there just to kind of break that up a little bit. Okay, so in all the joints, the knee joints, the elbows, and also that weird like on the top arms, there's like a opening, I suppose, bit what it would be. Just add a little bit into there as well. But as you can see, I'm just going in some of the joints, the little crevices, and those little splits in the breaks in the arms as well with my Black Legion. Once that's all dried, we're going to grab our Xandri dust. Guys, you know how I go with this one. You know the routine of what I'm going to say. You know it's get plenty on your brush. You know I'm going to tell you to take absolutely all of it off. They haven't changed. This part has not changed since the very first SlapChop video with this Xandri dust. Okay, make sure you've got absolutely all of it off, and you are feather dusting over the model. So light, it's so light, just really light, and you'll see a very gradual change. Okay, once you start seeing that change, ease off and move on to the next part. All right, but just really delicately, really damp, really easy over your model. All right, if you think, you know, it's always better to go too little than too much, okay? Okay, and you'll just start to see this like deserty, dirtier effect on the model, a bit more grim dark looking, okay, but nice and easy, nice and loose. Just keep going until there's nothing on, then you can reapply some more. But there he is. Okay, we're going to get our Black Legion, and all we're going to do is just apply it to our old Black Legion and Lamian medium mix, and all we're doing is the talons and the claws and the hooves. We're just going to apply some Black Legion, just a thin layer of it, just to kind of give it that sort of nightmare black look to it. The way those talons just, you know, those haunting talons, okay? Just very, very gently, just a thin coat over those talons. And with that applied, we're going to get our Corax White. Okay, Corax White, I'm just using a mixing brush to put it on our palette, and I'm now going to change to a bit more of a detail brush. And all I'm going to do, the 3 little sort of like eyes on the side of his face, I'm now just going to place a little bit of Corax White or White Scar into those areas, being very delicately as I do it. So 3 little eyes, and yeah, just pop some white on there, easy enough. With that done, I'm going to get my Iron Dan Yellow. You can go with, say, like a Warp Lightning or Blue or Red, whatever you want to go with, but for this, I'm going Imperial Fist yellow for this. Alright, and all I'm doing is, where we've gone with the white, I'm just going to be quite messy with it and just place it all around those eyes. Easy as that, okay? As easy as that. Hasn't got to be neat, because the yellow that you'll apply will almost create like a glow effect around the rest of the area, should you want to. Alright, but it's literally as easy as that. A little bit of yellow to give it a creepy looking and a slightly different colour to the model. Right, I've based it all up, but otherwise that's the model all done. With this, I've just added a bit of Sterling Mud and some basic urban basing kit. But there he is, the Von Ryan Sleepers, all done. Hopefully guys, you've enjoyed this video, you found it somewhat useful. I hope so. If you have, give us a like, give us a subscribe, leave a comment and tell us how you think. Apart from that guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.